And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You join us in the last 16 of Pro Series 9, and I am partnered with the youngest man in pool, Lewis Roberts. Lewis, how are we?
Good, thank you. Good, thank you. Not feeling so young though.
I don't know what you're talking about, Lewis. You're younger than me, and I'm 23. Interesting clash this actually, especially for a last 16. Ryan taking on Cormac here, two real young stars of Ireland and Northern Ireland. And it's been an interesting run for both players, it's fair to say. Cormac obviously started off kind of playing a prelim in the Pro Series, beating Cleve Thompson 7-5, and then came through a nervy decider against Craig Waddingham that he had a really good fight back in, and then he did the same again against Carl O'Donoghue. So, interesting run for Cormac. As for Ryan, obviously had a good result in his first one, and then just flew away from Sean Story.
Yeah, I mean, that's a fantastic result. I mean, I didn't see any of that match, but by all accounts, he just blew him away. Just every visit to the table, he took out the clearance. So he's going to come into this match with a lot of confidence. Sometimes it's difficult coming off the back of a match like that, though. When you've blown your opponent away 7-0, you've set the bar really high. So he might feel maybe he's under a little bit of pressure just to repeat that. Obviously, Cormac's coming into the match off the back of some great results, close matches, tough matches. So he's going to be sharp, and he'll be hoping to go up a gear if he can as well. But yeah, I think it's going to be a really interesting match between these two.
It was interesting watching the end of Cormac's game against Carl, because kind of speaking on the clearances towards the end, the commentators were kind of saying, well, he seems a little bit nervous, maybe still has that little bit of fear factor in the Pro Series of getting over the line. But when you've got that, you're always going to have that obviously against the top players, but he still does it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, obviously, maybe it's an experience thing. Obviously, like I say, he's still very young, still got plenty of time left in the game, and like I say, getting results like he's had is only going to give him confidence. And when he's back in those situations in future matches, those nerves won't be there. He'll be used to it, and he'll feel comfortable with it. And like you said, at the end of the day, if you get the win at the end, those nerves don't really count for anything. He's handled them well, handled the situation, and he's getting the wins on the board.
It's very interesting looking at Cormac's CV this season. He has had a quarter-final appearance already, so he has been further than this already once this season. On top of that, he has also had 2 last 16 runs as well, so knows what he's doing at the Pro Series. It's really impressive what they've done so far.
Yeah, like I say, there's definitely an added dimension. Like you say, that they've got a bit further to travel. It's perhaps a bit more of a commitment for them. Both young, and like I say, right. I mean, I've played Ryan a couple of times myself, and I think he's beat me both times, and he was very impressive on both occasions. I feel like he's got quite an old head on his shoulders for such a young age. I like his cue action. I think he's got a very sound technique, which is always going to stand you in good stead when you start to come under a bit of pressure. I do think he's probably a player that as time goes on, he's going to get better and better. I do kind of expect him to go on and do big things if he puts that commitment in and puts the time in and has the right attitude. I think he could go far as well. So this might be the first game of many between these two going down the line.
Yeah, and it's a real contrast of styles as well. I'll be honest with you, Lewis, I've never seen someone queue up in the way that Cormac does. He's kind of got this like little side swerve in his arm, and then kind of reverts his body into the shot, and it's really interesting. His face is kind of side on as well, which obviously indicates a dominant eye, but I mean, works perfectly.
Yeah, I mean, it is slightly unorthodox, but it looks natural though. It looks something that he's just, maybe when he started to play the game, it looks like it hasn't been coached in. It's just something that he's picked up. But like you say, it works. He looks comfortable. He gets the balls in the pocket and he controls the cue ball. So it's what works for him. So yeah, and I think as long as that continues, there's no reason for him to look to change or anything.
Yeah, and it's been a very good start for Cormac here. And once in these Pro Series first to sevens, Lewis, it's so important to make that quick start.
Yeah, you want to get off the board. You want to come out the blocks flying if you can. I mean, obviously you can be 2, 3, 4 frames in front, and obviously on this tour it doesn't always count for too much. If you make a mistake, that lead can soon go. But you want to get frames on the board, get your hand on the table, get sort of a feel for it, and settle yourself down as much as anything. And yeah, Cormac's got off to a great start. He looks very composed. He looks very confident actually. He's walking on the table quite he's got a good demeanour about himself. It looks like he means business. So yeah.
Cormac's going to really hate me saying this, and I feel like a lot of players would probably get a little bit annoyed in saying this, but a lot of his mannerisms and a lot of his facial expressions really remind me of the kind of Sean Murphy-esque. If you see what I mean, he's always pulling faces, and the way that he kind of approaches and kind of stomps around the table when he's confident as well, it's very likeness.
Yeah, I think that shows. It sort of shows that he's in the zone, though. He's not thinking about what he's doing, or that's
a beautiful shot.
He's played that. I judged the pace fantastically there. Yeah, I think it's just his natural demeanour when he's fully focused and he's concentrating. That's what he does, and it probably, in a way, it probably sends a message to his opponent that he's there, he's concentrating, he's in the zone. Yeah, I do feel, especially. Obviously all the tables have got brand new cloths on and that, which kind of makes the break even more important, because the tables are playing. They're good to play on, should we say. Obviously, when you've got new cloths on, they do tend to play slightly more generous. As you can see from there, the splits, from the matches I've seen, the splits are generally going open. There's not too many times where you're getting sort of clusters and problems. So yeah, it does feel like this weekend the break is probably more important than ever. And it's one of the biggest shots in the game anyway.
Yeah, so Ryan's got first opportunity here. There's just a few things to work out. I'm going to be honest with you, Lewis, I marginally prefer reds here.
Yeah, well, he hasn't got a shot on yellows, I don't think so. I think he's got to go reds. Obviously, the 8 ball's the only sort of problem in terms of developing that. He's got a couple of balls that he'll be looking to use to develop it. I think he's going to want to do it fairly early. Probably wouldn't have wanted that kiss there like that.
Yeah, definitely not full ball. If he kind of flicked off it, it wouldn't have been the worst kiss in the world, but hitting it full ball just means that the white stayed on the wrong end of the table. Has still got a shot hit to the middle pocket, and if that red above it passes into the bottom left, he's still got a good opportunity.
Yeah, I think he's okay. One good shot and he'll be back in business, but he really wants to get on a red to take that, sort that 8 ball out as soon as he can.
Yeah, good cueing required. Oh, very nicely done.
Yeah, that was a good example there. Like I said about Ryan's technique, it's very solid, no movement, cues through the ball on a good level, and it's shots like that where it stands you in good stead when you've got that awkward bridge in, you're playing it dead weight, and yeah, you can see from that how good his technique is. I think this is a bit thinner than it looks. I think he's just got to. In fact, he's digging down.
Yeah, this is tricky because you're trying to hold the white here. Oh, it's once again really nicely played. I mean, how do you go about the order here, Lewis? Because, I mean, ideally, of the 3 balls that are left, I'd probably be looking for the one over the bottom left to try and kind of come off the bottom cushion for the 8 ball, just because of the fine margin that landed on the red to the middle.
I think, yeah, I think to go into the 8 ball, you need to leave one of the bottom 2 reds, but obviously he's now going to go into off this one. The problem is with the line that he's taking into the 8 ball, there's a great chance you're not going to have a shot on the red, especially if it doesn't go to the top right. It doesn't look like it passes the yellow to the top right. You're not likely to be on a shot. I think what he's looking at now is leaving it as his last ball. But again, I feel like you're trusting to chance and you're getting you're relying a little bit on luck that you're going to bring the 8 ball out in the open.
Do you think maybe he's just going to settle and take a double? Or a triple even?
I think he will now. I do feel like... I feel like if he could have got on either this red or the one that was slightly wider earlier, and gone into it and left the other red to the left, going into the 8 ball, it means he would have had that one. He could have developed the black and had that one still. But yeah, he's been able to put the cue ball in a good position for a double here.
One thing that has been mentioned obviously a lot this weekend is obviously the cushions sliding because they're new as well. I mean, does that kind of take away the percentage factor from people wanting to play doubles?
Possibly, but I think you kind of know it's going to slide, so you can allow for it a bit. This is a fairly sort of standard double anyway, so I don't think he'll be too worried about that.
Oh, he's missed. Hits the bottom jaw and Cormac comes to the table again. The only saving grace here is that 8 ball's just gone in front of that yellow, so Cormac has work to do.
Yeah, I wonder if he can do it straight away, play the yellow to the left middle and go up. I'm not sure if Kuhl's quite going to swing wide enough, but
I'd almost be a little bit tempted. I don't know about you, Lewis, but just kind of dabbling that yellow into the middle pocket and then just screwing straight into it using the yellow into the bottom right, just because of how quick the table is.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, he's going for the safety option. I don't necessarily disagree with that either, to be fair. Obviously, Ryan's obviously going to do the work and move the black for him in a way. But yeah, I think the way the tables are playing, you do feel like you've got a lot of options out there to, especially in that position there. You did have quite a few options to go into it if you decided to give it a go and go for it. But I wonder if the 8 will actually go to the top left behind the yellows if he can get the right connection.
I think that's what he's looked at. This is tough. Wow.
Oh.
Wow. It's amazing to think that if he'd hit it a little bit lighter, it actually may have gone in the middle pocket.
It was only the pace that kept it out, and it just pocket just wouldn't take it at that pace.
That would have been a huge momentum swing as well, because Cormac had all the running in this game so far.
Absolutely, yeah, and obviously you could argue as well he perhaps could have gone for it, and obviously decided on the safety shot and gave his opponent one more shot.
As it is, Cormac with another big opportunity to open up his lead even further. He does look mega focused at the moment.
Yeah, it looks like he fancies the job.
I think there might be a little bit of that between the two of these players, simply because of the fact that obviously they would have come through the Irish ranks together as well. I'm almost sure they would have played each other a lot of times before.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to know if they have what the sort of head-to-head record would be. We probably won't have a record of that, but it would be good to know if they have played each other before and what the record is.
That's a good question for you, Lewis. Of all the pros that are kicking about at the moment, who's your best head-to-head record against?
None of them.
Surely you've beaten John once or twice.
I think I've only played in tournaments. I think I've only ever played John twice, and I think he's beat me once, and we had a draw.
Oh wow!
In the Players' Championship. I'm not sure. I've not really played enough players enough times to warrant calling anything a record, really.
Oh, you're just being kind. You're just being kind. Just left himself a slightly tricky 8-ball here, but I mean, someone of Cormac's queuing, he'd probably give this 90%.
Yeah, I think especially like I say, because the cloth's new as well. I think this they're not unmissable, but if you play the right pace, they're almost unmissable. So
yeah, didn't even touch the jaws, and Cormac opens up a 3-0 lead now over Ryan.
You know, it was never in a position, whether it was the people or the players or the organisations, whatever. It was never in a position to really kick on and become like something bigger. You do feel like now with what Ultimate Pool are doing and what they're trying to do, that you know, if pool is ever going to be a mainstream cue sport that's perhaps eventually considered on a par with snooker or 9-ball or something like that, you do feel like Ultimate Pool are going to give it the best go that anyone's done. I think one thing that I like that they're doing is obviously the accessibility for all the players. Obviously you've got a Pro Tour for the high level players. You've got the Challenger Series obviously for amateurs to come through, build up the experience to eventually turn pro for those that can get to that level. Obviously they've done wonders for the women's game. I think the women's game is in as good a position as it's ever been. And obviously it was great to see this weekend. Obviously having the wheelchair semis and finals was fantastic to see. And no one's done that before. You know, no one's tried to give everyone that plays pool that platform.
What I like to say a lot of the time is it really feels like Ultimate kind of bridged that gap to grassroots, and what I mean by that is everybody can be involved. I mean, and another good showing of that I really enjoyed was the county finals that they did.
Yeah.
And the reason for that is, I think beforehand, I think everybody kind of had to take that jump. You started in your local league, and from that point on, you were immediately thrown into county, and then from there you could be playing county A, you could get promoted to county A, but the only way for you to get better was all of a sudden to throw yourself into like a main tour.
Yeah.
And a lot of the time players would then kind of turn up, get demotivated, go out in a first round, whereas now this kind of system with a really good challenger that's wide open, you get the 2 events per weekend, and that you're at least getting a couple of shots for the money you're putting in. And it's really nice to be able to see actually the progression that a lot of players have made over the last couple of years because of that.
Yeah, definitely, you're absolutely right. Like you say, what Ultimate Pool have got, they've got a platform that anyone of any level can play in. You know, if someone wakes up one morning and decides that they want to go into pool, you can sign up and play in the Challenger Series. I know from my time on the Challenger Series, there's you know, you do have a wide range of talents and experience. You've got people that are at the start of their careers, you've got people that are at the end of their careers and they're playing for the enjoyment. There really is, you know, a bit of something for everyone. Obviously you've got the seniors tours as well that are I know that are very popular. And I think as well it shows the popularity that pool has. It is something that people like to watch. It is faster compared to, say, snooker, that's probably the more mainstream cue sport in the UK. It is a bit faster, it is a bit more exciting, there is a little bit more sort of unpredictability to it. And I think Ultimate Pool have probably realised that, and they're capitalising on it with the platforms that they're doing, with the different ranges of tournaments they're putting on. And I think, like I said, I think they're going in the right direction. I don't think it's a certainty that they'll eventually get to what they want to get to, just because you never know what's going to happen, and how difficult it is to get there, and how long it will take, and the investment that you need to put in, and the time and effort that a lot of people are going to have to sacrifice. But like I said, I think if Ultimate Pool can't do it and can't get the sport there, then I think it's probably one of them that pool's just not going to get there. But I do feel that, having been part of the snooker scene years ago and everything like that, I do feel like there is a nice little market for pool. Like I said, it is a bit faster. It's a little bit more, just a bit more unpredictable. I think that people like that unpredictability, and I think that has over snooker and that. And I do think there's definitely a market for April pool, and I think Ultimate Pool will hopefully get it there in the long term.
It's funny, you kind of touched on that subject a little bit, and it's something I find really fascinating about you, Lewis. And it's not something that I think everybody knows, but you have that snooker background, and it's obviously you see everybody come from all of these different categories, but it feels like you did a lot before Ultimate Pool was here, which obviously not a lot of people really know about. But I'd love to know a little bit more about your snooker background. Just while we were talking, obviously Ryan Marcus had got his first frame on the board. That was a really interesting frame, actually. Ryan had his first opportunity, broke down, and Cormac, I think, just tried to screw a yellow towards the middle pocket and leave the white on the back cushion, but miscued, and Ryan managed to get himself back in again and take advantage of that frame.
Yeah, and that's a fantastic break as well. That's going to be exactly what he needs. If he can reel off a quick break and dish as well, to get back within one off the back of a mistake from Cormac, Ryan will be delighted.
And this is exactly what Coco does, obviously nicknamed after the clown as well. Found that one out in Ireland. But yeah, I mean, known to be a little bit of a class joker, I think, back in the day. And I mean, it's just so nice watching these two actually, taking part in the real deep end of the tournament, because it's been a surprising tournament so far, Lewis, Event 9. And beforehand we've had a couple of shocks, or maybe somebody sneak through, like at the last Pro Series weekend. Mark Fleming made it all the way to the semi-finals and played really well, whereas this event, it just feels like every single pro that maybe needed to get a result has really turned up, and are kind of fighting for their place.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's not many results that kind of shock you in Ultimate Pool. The standard going right through the tour is there. That it's funny, because obviously you do get shocks and that, but you almost sort of you think, oh, that's I can't believe he's lost to him. But then you look at it and think, actually, he's actually a really good player. And
do you know what? The best way to describe that is it feels like a shock to the viewer, but not to the players.
Yeah,
the players look at it and they go, wow, okay, like. He's obviously played well to win, but it doesn't surprise me.
No, that's it. But like you said, it does feel like maybe there's been a few more this weekend. Like I said, maybe because it's the last weekend of the Pro Series, whether a few players feel like they've got a point to prove, or feel like it's the last weekend they want to sign off on a good win, or maybe obviously we've got the race for the number one spot where the players are feeling the pressure. I don't know. But yeah, I think it's good to see. I like to see shocks and that. I think, like I said, I like that predictability. I like the fact that that's one of the good things about pool. You do feel like you're never out of a game, because you're guaranteed a break every other frame. You're never fully out of a match.
That's a really nice shot from Ryan. He's going to see this 8 ball to get back within 1. And just signs that the momentum's starting to shift a little bit in this game. Yeah, very nicely done. Slightly off the top jaw, but do you know, it's a real nature of the beast. And the reason that I say that is so many people love to play pool. And, I was chatting to a friend a few weeks ago, because I'll be honest, at times when I've played pool, it's really affected my mental, because I'm kind of going through periods where I know I'm playing well and then not getting results. And sometimes you kind of sit there and think, what's the point? And you kind of have this slow build up in your head, but we're in such a good position, and the standard that everybody plays that's on this tour is unbelievable. But I mean, sometimes you just need to take that step back in order to realise that, and you're spot on with what you said. It's just about enjoying it, and I think sometimes it can be easy to forget that.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's one of the issues with, obviously goal setting is important. You need something to aim at and to have a bit of a target, but sometimes you can get a little bit too target focused, and like you say, you can forget that ultimately you've got to enjoy playing. Enjoy being out there, enjoy being at the table, because if you're not enjoying playing, what's the point? What's the point in playing at all? Winning's only fun because you're winning, but you need to be enjoying it full stop. And I think like you said, I think Q sports are very mentally draining, and it's one of those sports where, I suppose, like a lot of sports, you spend a lot of the time losing and trying to learn from losing, so you get those victories, the few victories that you get sort of count for a lot. But I think ultimately you've got to try and find the enjoyment whilst doing all of that at the same time. So
there's so many people in the pool world that are just such good people, and it's something that I always encourage, that if I see someone that's like very stressed out, or it's always just good to talk. And I think you've got such a good community here of pool players that no matter who you spoke to, whether it was a commentator, a presenter, a host, a player, a guide, some guy that's just watching along in the crowd, they would all just sit there and have a conversation with you and just be able to G you up, really.
Yeah, that's it. I think one of the good things about pool is like I say, everyone loves it. So there's always a conversation to be had.
It's a community sport.
That's it. Yeah, that's it. And the thing as well is, whatever level you play at, everyone's been through that mental barrier, that mental block that everyone seems to hit at some point playing. So it doesn't matter what level you play at. Everyone's been in that boat of your brain's absolutely fried. And it doesn't matter what level you're at. Everyone's been there.
As it is, Ryan has got himself back in again. Cormac just once again just under-hitting a shot, and left himself a bit too close to that red and caused himself a huge problem and couldn't find the response. And just signs here that Cormac's lost his concentration just slightly.
Yeah, we go back to that foul where he didn't quite cue it and didn't hit a cushion, and you feel like this is stemming from that. When you talk about pool and all that, you look at moments that change matches and change momentum. You do feel like there's been a massive momentum shift since that foul. Ryan looks very comfortable at the table now. He's clearly got his hand in. This will be for the third frame on the trot, and it's his break next, so he's going to have an opportunity to take a lead if he can take out a break clearance next frame.
Yeah, it's definitely felt like today. Every game that I've watched, it's never rained, it's poured. Like, nobody kind of wins one frame and then calls it a day. It's, if somebody wins a frame, they're going on a run of 3 or 4 and then just going, right, back to you, mate. Yeah, Ryan hit a really good break last time. That would be interesting to see. Can he do it again? Oh, hit it clean. Makes the yellow into the top right.
Absolutely crunched them.
These do not look too bad. I think this yellow is accessible to the top left, past the reds, so I think...
Yeah, this is a good chance. And like I said, this is the chance that Ryan would be hoping for. Get a ball off the break, have a chance at taking out the clearance to go in the lead for the first time in the match. Wouldn't say it's a decisive frame at this point. It'd only be for a 4-3 lead. Cormac's obviously not out of the match by any means, but Ryan's obviously had the momentum, and he wants to... When you've got the momentum, you want to keep it. You don't want to be giving it away. You want to try and keep that pressure on. It's a fairly decent pattern here. There's not too much work to do. Obviously, just that, like you say, that top yellow. But I think it's relatively easy to get. I think the camera angle's a bit deceptive.
The only thing I would say is that I feel like this shot could potentially throw the white wide, and you just don't want to start tangling with the top right hand pocket. Obviously, if he's going to dig and then play it off the side cushion, that's absolutely fine, but just got to get this right. Yeah, it wasn't as simple as it looked.
Yeah, I think that the shot before was if you're going to be ultra critical, it was a bad shot. He's overrun it.
It's a roll too far.
Yeah, he didn't want to have that much angle. If he was straighter on it, he could have controlled the cue ball much easier. Just topped it through, and had much better control. So if you're going to be ultra critical, yeah, the shot before wasn't great.
Is he going to try and flick this in using a bit of side off the top cushion? He is. Wasn't a bad effort, but not made it.
Chance for Cormac. This is the chance that he'd have been hoping for to swing the momentum back his way. Obviously the red on the right hand side's not ideal. It does have a pocket, so he doesn't have to move it, but obviously he's got to get the cue ball in the right area.
Yeah, the good thing for Cormac here is that he has got a few balls that he can kind of use to lever the white ball into that position that he wants it to be. Might have a good opportunity here. The only other ball that really needs any kind of work, I think, to pot is probably the one that's closest to that left-hand middle, just because because of how far away it is from the middle, needs a bit of dropping in. I think he's played for it now.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, obviously the black, I assume, doesn't go to the right middle, so he can't leave it till last. Like I say, he does have the opportunity to drop it now. The only thing is, I'm not sure at what point he's going to think about getting up for that red in the top right hand side.
Yeah, I just don't like the idea of leaving this red too late. That's the...
Oh, can he do it now?
It's not got a bad angle. I wonder if he'll play into it because of the fact he's got the insurance, obviously, of the red over the left middle.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, any kind of contact on the yellow should do it if he's got a bit of pace on it. So.
Yeah, he wasn't really close, and now he is chasing this. Has he maybe got an opportunity here to come off the bottom cushion and go for it again? I mean, it's a huge shot, because if you miss it, then you are nowhere. But
I think he might have to, though. I'm not sure if it's white ball's going to swing wide enough, but it is.
It's a good effort.
That's a great shot.
Oh, he just hasn't quite got there. He could still get it from here, but I mean, it would have to be an absolute highlight reel.
Yeah, this is well, I mean, you pot the long red down the rail with a bit of bottom right and stun across, I guess, unless he's going to look at forcing it. Don't know if he can red off the yellow into the left middle. Stun it off.
I think whichever way you go, Lewis, I think it's a 1 out of 10, isn't it, really? That I like the idea of taking this one down the corner more just because the pot is there. This is a tough shot. Yeah, and he wasn't really that close. But he's put the yellow back where it was.
I'll tell you what, that's not a bad leave, though. If you're going to leave something, that's not bad. Obviously, the yellow right over the pocket, snookered on, and obviously with bridging over this red for one of these two isn't ideal. So
he's actually left Ryan in a really horrible position here, because Ryan can't really even take on yellows into the corner. So he's had to play off the side cushion. It's not bad.
Yeah, but obviously the good thing that Ryan had, obviously, with that red being near the yellow, obviously there wasn't too much pressure on that shot.
I don't quite know what Cormac's going to do here, really.
He's just looked at it done, but I'm not sure he's going to try and hide the cue ball.
Just going to try and leave it towards the bottom. That's a really clever shot. He's covered the yellow over the bottom left with the 8 ball. That is really clever, because even if Ryan was to go for another ball, he's still got to play a tough shot in position. So, you know, it just that shot kind of just buys Cormac another shot, doesn't it? Really.
Yeah, he's still in a tough position to try and win the frame. Obviously, Ryan's fully in control at the minute. That red being where it is,
it's horrible. But has he potentially got the skill shot into the top left?
I think you feel like at some point he's going to have to try something, because at the minute the frame's just Ryan's just ticking through the frame, getting to the point of where, you know, the balls are there for him. So you do feel like he's got to maybe go for this. Middle.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
And if Cormac knocks in this long red, which I mean is a tough shot anyway, Ryan will be absolutely fuming. This is a tough shot though. But if he makes it, the 8 ball goes in the right middle.
So he's just got to drop this in. This is one of those shots where you just think, right, I've just got to cue it. Just cue it positively.
Oh, didn't really get close.
I just felt like he didn't quite cue that one straight, I don't think. Perhaps just flicked a little bit on it.
Felt like there was a little bit of a jab in there.
Yeah. So Ryan does get his chance. That'd have been an unbelievable steal if Cormac could have potted that long red.
And it's the steals that hurt the most. Really do. And as it is, Ryan's managed to evade that and has the opportunity here to get himself one ahead. Still probably one more good positional shot here. Just let's get the white ball out here. Nicely played.
Yeah, you feel like he's just making sure on these last few balls, giving it an extra couple of seconds on the shots.
Yeah, it's a real reason that Ryan and Cormac have both gone professional, I feel, is that they've both just got such good temperaments that are beyond their age.
Yeah. I definitely, without a doubt, to be winning matches consistently, you need to have a good temperament, good attitude, and as Ryan sinks that long yellow, this one's going to the lead for the first time in the match.
Yeah, just stealing himself here. Knows how important this 8 ball is. And delivers the cue nicely, and it is 4-3 to Ryan Marcus now.
Potentially 3 matches today, so you get into today, you've only got that few hours in between. You've got to kind of prepare yourself and make sure you get a little bit of rest time in between and try and get a bit of food here and there. And as Cormac comes up dry there.
What's your game plan on a weekend like this, Lewis? Obviously you're here with Patricia Roberts, who's on here at the moment. But it always intrigues me what players do. Kind of have you got any kind of pre-match routine? Anything that you do in particular, kind of an hour before, or do you just go by your day, live your normal day, and then just fit in the pool in between?
No, it's a little bit. It's a little bit strange for me because we're sort of on a day-to-day basis. Obviously in the workshop, but we're always sort of flat out working hard. So I'm out the door by 7 in the morning, in the workshop by 7:30, and there till 6 at night. So obviously when I come here, it's a bit different because it's a little bit different, obviously, because I've got a bit more time on my hands, so it's a bit strange. I don't really know what to do with myself to fill the time. So, as much as anything for me, it's sort of trying to fill the time and not get too bored. I don't really have any sort of major rituals. I think probably I don't like to eat too close to matches. I don't think that's probably the only thing I do is not eat too close to a match. And
do you know what? In a weird way, I totally get what you're on about.
Yeah,
I do the same because I feel like if you're nervous and that, you get the butterflies and that anyway.
Yeah.
But then when you've eaten, it just feels even worse.
Yeah, and you just feel like, and because and then you have, if you maybe eat a bit too much, then you feel a bit full, and maybe you feel a bit sluggish, and I don't know. I mean, every player is different, but I don't like to sort of feel too full and sluggish. So I try and avoid eating maybe within about half an hour of playing. But apart from that, I don't really have any major sort of things that I do. Just try and do something to occupy my mind, I suppose, in between the matches, so I don't get too sort of bored, and maybe have a little sleep here and there if it's a late match in the evening, sort of like a 10:30 match or anything like that. I'll perhaps try and have a little kip for 20 minutes just to catch him on a bit of sleep.
Yeah, now I'm seeing the point where people went, oh yeah, he's not as young as you think he is, that kind of thing.
Yeah, no,
Having a nap for a half 10 game, Lewis. That's not something a 23-year-old would be doing.
Oh no, that's what 2 kids does to you. You got to take the sleep anytime you can.
Is it nice for you as well, obviously, having kids as well, the fact that when you play in these events, obviously you can get your family along to come and watch it as well. I suppose it kind of makes it a bit more of a wholesome experience for you as well, Lewis.
Yeah, but I mean they've been a couple of times to watch, and they understand, they understand the sort of the etiquette and all that. Then they've got to sit there quietly and everything like that. They're quite good. I don't think they're really into it very much. They never saw me sort of play snooker or anything like that, so they've only ever known sort of like the pool side of it. But yeah, it's quite nice for them to sort of see, because obviously all our, for me and Trish, obviously all our lives has been around snooker and pool. We met through snooker, and she's always been reffing, I've always been playing, and now doing the cues and stuff. Everything's always been sort of snooker or pool related. So I suppose it's good for them to kind of see what kind of world it's like at tournaments, and what the people are like, what the tournaments are like, and what actually goes on, because they've only ever seen it on the telly, apart from the few times they've been. So yeah, it's quite nice, but it's trying to make it not a distraction as well, I suppose.
And I suppose your whole life kind of surrounds it as well, Lewis, which for a lot of players here, I'm going to be honest with you, Lewis, my thing I've always said is the moment I started playing pool competitively and I started doing the ultimate and all that kind of stuff as well, I said the one thing I want to do is make a career out of it, whether I'm presenting, playing, commentating. I've got to be the guy upstairs if I'm doing the lighting, whatever it is. I want to be that person that's doing that. And you're one of the few people, I suppose, that's really lived that life. And the other thing I'm kind of curious about is how you got into cue making, because it's not always, I suppose, a part of the world that people see.
No, well, but it was yeah, like I say, I think if to snooker and pool is I suppose it's in your blood once it's there. It just sort of becomes your life, doesn't it, a little bit? And yeah, I started playing. I got into snooker when I was about 13. Started doing all junior snooker tournaments, stuff like that. My dad always had an interest in snooker. He always wanted to make his own snooker cue. He's an engineer by trade, so he's good with his hands, good, fairly skilled in that. And obviously I was tall enough by then to be able to stand properly a little bit, and I think I probably started to get into it quite heavily and started doing sort of junior snooker tournaments and stuff like that. And yeah, since then that's just sort of own it, and that's all I wanted to be. From then on it was, at school you'd have those meetings with teachers or the careers people. And
I hated them.
Yeah, and they'd always say, "What do you want to be?" And I'm like, "Well, I'm going to be a snooker player." And that was it. And they'd be like, "Okay, but what are you going to do? What's your backup?" And I'm like, "Well, I haven't really got one." Like, but you've got to have a backup. I'm like, "Well, I haven't really got one. I'm going to be a snooker player." So
I'm going to be honest with you. I've got a university degree this year. Don't want to showboat, but got one this year. And
listen, that's an achievement. That's an achievement.
But I'll be honest. We kind of sat down and had the discussion when I was about 16, 17. Me and my mum. My mum went, "We want you to go to university because we feel like it'd be good for you for your career path." Da 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 da. And I went, "I agree," but in the back of my mind, I was like, where can I go and play snooker? Where's the best place in the country to do it, right? Had a little bit for scan around and all that kind of stuff, and I went, Leicester's the one, right? So I've bearing in mind that all my other university choices were in the south, because I was like, I can't be bothered to travel otherwise. I've taken her to Brighton, Canterbury, God knows where else, and then I went, right, I want to go to De Montfort. She was like, really? I said, yeah. Gone round, had the tour. The whole time we're on the tour, I'm having a look at the nearest venue. All that kind of stuff, and eventually I went, I love it, this is the one I want to go to. And she went, you sure? I went, yeah. So go up to university, and within 2 weeks I think my attendance was probably about 20%, and my attendance at the venue was a lot more, but I was starting to make money out of the competition, so I was like, there's a career here.
There you go.
And lo and behold, I ended up getting my degree in marketing, which I think ended up working as a marketing for a pool player, not marketing for the actual job I was meant to be getting. But it's alright, if my mum's watching along to this, I do love you, and I did get it for other reasons, don't worry.
Yeah, he'll make the most of it at some point.
See, look, Lewis is backing me up there, that's a good commentator. Anyway, back to the action. Cormac at the table, and a little bit of work to do here. He's going to be playing into this cannon in this yellow and red first. It's not ideal. He's still got the big pocket of the yellow in the middle, though.
Yeah, he would have loved that yellow just to pop out so it went by the red. That would have made the clearance a lot easier. A little bit of A bit of work to do now just to take these out in the right order.
He's just got to play a couple of really good positional shots, like need to be absolutely pinpoint, and it's a lot easier said than done, especially on these tables. They're so quick. He just didn't quite get through that as he would have wanted. Still got an opportunity here, but this is now very awkward.
Yeah, I think this is still okay because he can as long as the cue ball comes out away from that red, he's going to have a nice angle after this. If he plays at the right pace, he's not going to move the yellow too far away from the middle, so then he's just got to judge the line. He's going to play with a bit of pace, maybe.
I think he has to dig it because I think there's a bit more angle than the camera maybe suggests. Oh, he potted it clean.
Oh, he's done well.
That's a great shot.
Yeah, he's done well there. Obviously, I thought he had to play it thicker off the yellow, but yeah, keeping the yellow there makes this... it's literally just pot this now.
Yeah, he's really started to cue the last few frames as well. Cormac's kind of had the door shut on him, and just as I've said that, he's just rattled that in the corner. Is there maybe one more momentum switch in this game?
Yeah, you do feel... I mean, obviously we're only a couple of minutes away from the 15-second shot clock. You do feel like if Cormac can nick this, obviously it'd be his break next as well. Going into that 15-second shot clock, if he can be almost level.
That's not the ideal first positional shot though. Just it's a little bit closer to this cushion than he would have wanted, so may have to take the next shot from distance. Yeah, just settled. Now needs to cue a good one.
Yeah, I think he's got angle, so it's just a case of top this up and just get high enough up the table. And he should still be fine.
Did have a little bit of angle. That little flick, I don't know, has it helped or hindered him? I don't know if this red passes just past the yellow into the middle. I don't think it does.
I don't know if he could have potted that straighter maybe. I feel like he maybe could have kept the white cue ball straighter. Maybe it's just the camera angle, I'm not sure, but I feel like he perhaps could have got the cue ball inside the black there almost, if he'd have potted it thick. And
it felt like it took a minute for the white to really react when he cued that, almost as if he didn't quite hit it.
Yeah, I don't know.
As sharpish as he could have.
Obviously the where the reds are in the middle, the bottom two plant if he had to play that.
That's a really good cannon.
Yeah, he's fine there now.
Yeah, and he's back in prime position here, really. Just has to send this white through the gap of the two reds and play for the one into the bottom left next. If he gets that shot right, then this should be frame.
Yeah, it's just judging the pace.
Decided to use the top and bottom cushion just to come round. It's not ideal. Just got to, once again, just maybe leave another shot from a little bit of distance.
Yeah, I do feel like I probably would have left the red to the bottom left. I think you had a lot more room for error on the cue ball, and then obviously the next shot's easy. And
yeah, you just kind of dolly that next ball in, and then you've got no issues with positional, and you see how he's he's just clinging on really positionally.
So like you said, I think if you left the red to the bottom left, there's no shot to play, whereas the line that he took, obviously if he was short like he was, you've got to play a shot, and now it's not straightforward. You still expect him to get it.
Oh, that flick off the jaw has helped him big time. That could have gone very easily wrong.
15-second shot clock. Let the carnage begin.
I was going to say, are you a fan of it or not a fan of it, Lewis?
Not a little bit. I hate it. No, that's a bit hard. I don't hate it. Obviously, it's fun and exciting to watch. It'd be interesting to see actually if between Ryan and Cormac, which one perhaps actually handles the 15-second shot clock. You feel like watching the players that Cormac's maybe a faster player, but I think having seen Ryan play quite a bit, I don't feel like the 15 seconds would be an issue for him either. I think he's got it in his locker to play quickly if he needs to. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how this next 9 minutes or whatever we've got left play out.
Yeah, to me, Ryan so far in this game has just seemed the slightly more composed, but Cormac has seemed the quicker. So as to how that translates going into the 15-second shot clock is, I'm none the wiser really, but As it is, Cormac's got a good opportunity here. Got to be a little bit careful here.
Yeah, he used his extension. I think it's just
didn't quite make up his mind, did he?
Yeah, I think it's almost sort of confirming in his mind the route he wants to take.
I don't feel like he needed to use the bottom cushion.
For the angle he's got left now, I think he could have just screwed to have that angle a bit closer if he needed to, but
I think with the pace of these tables, I feel like the ball does the work for you a lot of the time. And one thing I have noticed with Cormac is just every so often you just feel like he uses that cushion that he doesn't need to.
Yeah, I do think, you know, you're almost with the Kloss playing as fast and as good as you are almost just floating balls. You know, you're floating the cue ball around. You don't need to do too much work. But I think he's just got a bit too much angle on this now.
I wonder if he'll play yellow off of yellow and just send the other one towards the bottom end, just because of the fact that he's not straight. Yep. He just wanted that to stop a roll before, didn't he?
Yes, that was always the danger of playing the yellow for yellow.
Now he's got to try and judge this off the red to screw back up for the 8 ball. This is a tough shot.
To be fair, I think if he can find the gap between the two reds going up, which he almost did.
Couple of flicks. Is that red getting in the way? Oh, it is.
Oh, that's unlucky.
Thanks to the heavens, and now he's got a tough shot off the side rail. He has it at cushion, so he hasn't fouled. So, in my eyes, at least you're forcing your opponent to make the clearance and not just have that ball in hand to put it wherever he likes. Yeah,
definitely. I mean, to be fair, actually, he could have left it a much easier first shot here. Obviously, he's got the red to the middle. You do feel if he gets this, then that'll be the frame.
You say it? Yeah, he's okay.
I think you always play that with an element of safety, just bringing the cue ball down to this side. So if he did miss it, the 8 ball wasn't going to be easy.
The only thing I would say here is that actually he's taking that red over the left middle now. It just means it removes the really easy ball to land on the 8 ball, so he is going to have to play one positional shot to land on the 8 in a minute.
Yeah, I don't think he's as long as he leaves the right angle on this red to the bottom right, I don't think it's too much of a problem. I think the 8 was in quite a good position, fairly close to the pocket.
Yes, I feel like sometimes, Lewis, you just kind of got to nitpick a little bit just because it's so hard to find like a real palpable error sometimes in the way that these guys play.
Yeah, sometimes there's just not an error. The only thing I'd say about I don't know if we perhaps could have topped that and got a bit closer. I don't know, but
yeah, that's what I was thinking.
There you go.
See, look, I've done this for too long. Trust me, I would have missed about 3 balls ago. But as it is, this is a slightly tricky 8 ball, but an important one. And Ryan Marcus takes it out, and
that are in these different countries that play at a level that can compete on a professional circuit, and they're trying to get everyone involved, which is what you want. You want all the best players in the world playing in the same tournaments.
And it's lovely to do as well. It's lovely to be able to travel out to these events as well. And you know, you always hear about the snooker players, and they all that yellow just about. If that had gone dry, that would have been criminal.
I was just about to say, how's that gone dry?
That would be absolutely criminal. But as it is, Ryan's got an opportunity here, but it's not nice. Still a lot of work to do here, no matter which colour set he goes with the reds. He's got the 2 reds in the bottom half of the table that are awkward.
Yeah, I feel like he's got to go yellows, because obviously we're thinking about the match clock now. 4 minutes 30 coming up left, and obviously
he can potentially time Cormac out here as well.
Yeah, and obviously with the way that the reds are, they're not easy. So you feel like just going yellows, you can almost play the clock to a degree. I think at this point Ryan's probably at the table thinking he can't lose this match in normal time. You wouldn't think. Obviously, if he's going to lose, it'll be through a 6 reds, if at all.
Yeah, went slightly wrong position there, and he's fouled out of nowhere. And if Cormac is going to get himself back into this game, he's realistically here. He's probably got about. I'd give him maybe a minute where he can kind of play the tactical stuff and get himself into the frame, and then probably needs to clear up in the next 30, 45 seconds after. And that's why he's gone wrong there. He was just trying to do a 2-in-1.
Yeah, and and the red's gone back over obviously towards that corner, just with the yellow as well. It still goes over to the bottom right, but yeah, I think from Cormac's point of view, you kind of want.
Oh, Ryan. Maybe Cormac has got another go.
You feel like if he can win this frame with and leave maybe a minute on the clock,
yeah,
and obviously his break next, you feel like I mean, obviously you can do it in less than a minute, but I think you want that minute just to give yourself a little bit of leeway.
The only thing is, the way that Ryan's missed here, Cormac has got so much work to do to clear this table. This red is an issue, the one in the top corner. You've got the one towards the bottom right and the one towards the bottom left that are all going to need work. That's a good shot. He's got an angle here with the one to the right middle if he wishes to try and make a cannon on this red that's below it. If he does, that's not bad, it's not ideal. I don't know if it's just blocked that red off towards the bottom, to the bottom right pocket.
I wonder if he can drop the middle red into the top left, leave the other one to the top right, and use that to come back down and try and get on the cushion and have the red to the top left. Leave the 8 balls there and have that in the middle. It's difficult to see what angle he's got. Oh, he had the angle there.
Oh,
that's unlucky.
Just rattled. It's a great shot to get in behind there, but this has now got to be Ryan Marcus's opportunity, and he's got to make sure that no mistakes here either, because if he were to miss, then Cormac would probably just have about enough time.
Yeah, I can't see Ryan making a mistake from here. He'll make use of the clock, and to be honest, he'll probably even just clear up anyway. I think he's certainly going to get a shot at the black to win.
It's fair to say, Lewis, kind of looking back, it was just those couple of missed opportunities by Cormac mid-match, the two kind of miscues that have really cost him here.
Yeah, I think that foul at 3-0 up was big in the end. I think it just, at that point he looked the confident player. Ryan hadn't really had a visit at the table yet, and Cormac was fully in control. And if maybe you can look back at that point and say that was the turning point in how the match went. Maybe that's been a little bit harsh to say that's what cost him. I don't know, but it was certainly a factor in what swung the match back in Ryan's favour, and Ryan's took full advantage of it, to be fair.
Yeah, Ryan Marcus has taken out a really nice 8-ball there, and it is 7-4 to Ryan Marcus. He sees himself through to his maiden quarter final